We'll call to order the City of Desert Hot Springs regular meeting of the City Council, and the City Council serving as the successor agency to the former Redevelopment Agency Board for Tuesday, May 6, 2025. This is our closed session, 5 p.m. session. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Pitts. Present. Councilmember Pye.
Present.
Councilmember Voss.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Gardner.
Present.
And Mayor Mattis.
Present. I don't see anybody in the audience. Do we have any public comments?
No, we do not.
We move into closed session. Before we do that, the City Attorney is going to make announcements of one item being pulled and announce the other two items.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. The first item will be pulled. This second item is Public Employee Performance Evaluation 54957. Title is Interim City Manager, and Public Employment 54957. Title is City Manager.
And the reason for the item being pulled?
The reason we are pulling the closed session is because we're not quite ready. We thought we'd have some information that we don't have yet, so we don't need any direction from council at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll recess the closed session. Good evening, everybody. We're going to call the meeting to order for the City of Desert Hot Springs, regular meeting of the City Council, and the City Council serving as the successor agency to the former Redevelopment Agency Board for Tuesday, May 6, 2025. This is our 6 p.m. regular session. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Pitts. Present. Councilmember Pye.
Present.
Councilmember Voss.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Gardner.
Present.
And Mayor Mattis.
Present. Invocation tonight will be by Council Member Dirk Voss.
All right. Okay. Lord, thank you for allowing us to serve you and the residents and businesses in our city. Thank you for providing the foundation for us to build upon, to grow from, and learn from, and making smart decisions for our community. Thank you, Lord, for letting us, the staff and leadership, to serve you in carrying out your will and the goals for our community. Lord, we ask for a shield of protection over our city. Keep us safe, and for prosperity, and for us to grow unified as one community together in your name. Amen.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Voss, would you lead us?
Yep. Hand of your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam City Attorney, would you report on closed session, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. We have no reportable action.
Thank you. Right now, we're going to do the approval of the agenda. Is there any items from the consent calendar that anyone would like to pull? If there's no pulling of the consent calendar, is there anyone in the audience that would like to make any comments on the consent calendar items? I see nobody coming forth. Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar and the agenda as printed? Thank you.
Second.
A motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
At this time, we will go into public comments. At this time, pursuant to the Brown Act, any person may comment on matters of general interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council, not listed on the agenda. Under the Brown Act, the City Council shall not take action on or discuss matters raised during public comment portion of the agenda that are not listed on the agenda. All comments are to be directed to the city council and shall be devoid of any personal attacks. Members of the public are expected to maintain a professional, courteous decorum during public comments. I don't have any speaker cards. If anyone has any public comments on items not on the agenda, this is a time to come forth. Yes, sir. You can come to the mic and state your name. When you're done, please see the city clerk. Gerald, wave your hand right there. And he's going to have you just fill out a blue card so he has it on record. Go ahead. You're good. You're good. There's the way.
Yeah, my address is 66449 San Marcos Road, and about short rental, I have some trouble, so I lose my short rental license before, and when I wanna sorry for my English, when I wanna reapply, so it's a new law about 500 square feet, 500 square feet, and then now I just wanna ask about I don't know, exception or something, because that house which one close to my house, that's two different houses, not look like it, and that's a new visitors, I have new management who do it a lot of houses management, if something is possible think about that.
Great. We'll have you fill out a card, and if you give your information to the city clerk, we'll have somebody from our city manager's office get in touch with you.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. See if there's anybody else that would like to speak in public comments. You can come forward, sir, and then finish that afterwards. Yes.
I can go up there right now?
Yes, sir.
I don't need to fill this out.
When you finish, just complete it and hand it to the city clerk so he has a record of it.
All right, so basically, I mean, I've been here my whole life and everything, and I own a small company here.
Can you state your name to begin with? So-
Andres Marquez.
Perfect, thank you.
So I own a small company here, and I own property out in Indio, but I've been in DHS. I got residence here. But I've noticed something, I take my son to the park, different things. Started about 8 months ago on a tire drive. They said free tires you can drop off. So I was like, okay, so I'm gonna pick up a few tires out there in the desert somewhere, and then drop them off. Well, now I got about 300 tires, and I found out that it's very hard to dispose of things. And I was just gonna save up and dispose, no problem. But then oil, all that stuff's all in the deserts. Have you been by Mission Springs Park? It's kind of a mess down there. A lot of oil, a lot of just dumping everywhere. Every single desert, every dirt road, and I go out there 4x4ing and with my truck, my trailer. There's a lot of stuff out there, dead animals tied up, hog-tied, shot. It's crazy. It's all on the Nextdoor app. I put it on there, and it's hard not to get mad, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to get anybody mad. So just trying to find a better way forward. And people said that maybe go talk to the city. And I'm not really trying to pass off things to you. I'm out there every day trying to take care of it. You know what I mean? I got photos and videos and all the stuff, and just trying to take care of it. Try to get in touch with news stations, but I'm not trying to make a big deal about it because people will take it. They'll start getting angry. You know what I mean? And then things get out of control. They want to do some fundraising, not fundraising, but a volunteer event. But I don't know what to do with 100 people out there. I'm I could hit these dump sites no problem, But they told me maybe I should come to here and see if maybe we can do something about it, And they said, oh, you guys got the facilities. I said, I don't think they do. I don't think any city, because I've been through the whole valley, and I don't think any cities really has what's really needed to solve this issue. You know what I mean? But it's gonna take some creative effort. Actually, it's not just about punishing people. Going out there because that's easy. That's easy. Just taking people's parents and all that stuff, and it's a learned behavior. You know what I mean? Where these people learned this, maybe wherever they learned it from. But maybe if they were just a little more educated and know that they are doing harm and they are angering people, they are making people sad out there. Maybe something could change about it. But it might take a little while. But I'm starting. I got a bunch of stuff on my property, a bunch of appliances are $45 to dispose of. So it's kind of hard. But I stock it up, and then I use my funds from my business to facilitate to the proper disposal. But then I go to some of these disposal places in town, and it kind of got me mad because they take the oil, then they shut me down after 25 gallons one day. They said no more oil, and I was like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do with it? Then I brought some coolant. I said, well, those bottles are coolant. And then they said, I thought they were joking. They said, pour it on the ground. Don't matter. And I was like, man, you know what I do out there, right? And they were like, no. And I thought they were being sarcastic or what, but they were just like, pour it, dump it on the floor, And I just said, nah. I said, don't you ever just tell anybody about that. I'm not even gonna try to, because I could just go try and get your ass fired, you know?
What I'm going to
excuse me.
do is, because you're only allowed 3 minutes of
Yeah.
public comments, this is a great opportunity for you to meet with Christina. She's our deputy city manager, and she just helped coordinate a large event with another business owner on cleanup.
Yeah.
You have every right to be upset. We are all frustrated with the process of.
I'm not
trying to-
upset.
But my point is that she will be able to assist you and get you to the right place.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Still feel it's all right?
Yes, please. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak in public comments? I see nobody coming forth. We're going to close public comments this time. We'll move to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I just have one update on concerns of public that I brought up was graffiti at the animal hospital. I just want to confirm that our graffiti abatement contractor was out there today and did remove some of the graffiti, and there is a contractor working on doing some improvements to the site, so there will be a lot more improvements to the site being done this week. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. No other reports? Okay. Move to mayor and council member comments. I'll start with Mr. Did I start with Mr. Pitts? No, I'll start with Mr. Pitts today.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. So this is my City Council update for May 6, 2025. On April 23rd, I attended the Sunline Transportation meeting where I co-chaired the Taxi Committee and led the discussion. During that meeting, we adopted SSG Ordinance Number 2025-02, which supersedes SSG Ordinance Number 2025-01. So what is Sunline Service Group, or SSG? And what does Ordinance 2025-02 entail? This new ordinance aims to make our taxi services more competitive with ride-sharing companies. Its adoption will improve the operational flexibility and service delivery for taxi operators. So here's some key highlights. It grants taxi drivers the right to charge a maximum flat fee or fare of $25 for tips to Palm Springs International Airport and also the Acrisure Arena of distances of 4 miles or less. For trips exceeding 4 miles, fares will be calculated based on the prevailing rate at that time. Additionally, a $35 service fee will apply to pickups at major events such as Coachella Music and Art Festivals, as well as other special events. So switching gears on that, an evening with the senator, let's talk about that. On April 24th, we had the opportunity to meet and listen to California State Senator Rosalys Ochoa during her town hall here that was held here at our city hall. She was engaging and shared updates on many changes happening here at the state level. Senator Ochoa mentioned she had never tasted our delicious water, which turned into a fun photo op as she joined the audience enjoying Mission Springs Water District's delicious water. She also acknowledged the presence of 2 city council members in attendance, myself and Councilmember Voss. We each spoke briefly about the city's new districts and shared our excitement about the vision and future of the new community, the new DHS. As an animal advocate and fur baby lover, I wholeheartedly support California Assembly Bill 691. I'm honored to have added my name as a local city council representative in support of this important legislation. So what is Assembly Bill 691? Assembly Bill 691 is a tax credit initiative aimed at helping lower income communities offset pet adoption cost. If enacted, the bill would provide a one-time tax credit up to $250 for adoption fees and up to $500 for veterinary expenses, including vaccinations, spaying, and neutering. This legislation seeks to encourage pet adoption from our local Coachella Valley shelters, including those right here in Desert Hot Springs. Supporting this bill means giving our shelter animals a voice. Every pet deserves a second chance to be loved, cared for, and given a fresh start. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That updates my update.
Thank you
Completes my
very
update.
much. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had I had the opportunity to do a ride-along with our Desert Hot Springs PD mid-April after our last meeting, which was 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's been a while. And I spent the evening shift with Officers Corona and Estrada and Sergeant Saucier. And I just got to say, these guys and all of our officers are the reason our crime rate is the lowest in the valley. And it's great to see the media finally paying attention to that. We got some great media coverage on that in the last couple of weeks. And I was impressed by the teamwork, the technology, the training all of these officers have undergone and how they interact with the public and work to protect all of us. So thank you, Chief, and for the opportunity, and thanks to Officers Corona, Estrada, and Sergeant Saucier for their education that I got. I'm just so proud of these guys, all of our officers, and the camaraderie that they share with each other. It was really an amazing experience, and it just goes to show how well our PD is functioning right now, and the results speak for themselves. So thank you, Chief. Attended the Southern California Association of Governments, SCAG's Regional Council and General Assembly, Palm Desert last week. Nice not having to go to LA for that meeting. It was part of their annual meeting, which was well attended, vendors and sessions, and Mr. Voss was there along with me, and a lot of education stuff there. It was really good. And lastly, I want to give a shout out to our fantastic Public Works team. On Sunday, I had a resident text me a screenshot that they had taken off of the community comments on the Ring doorbell app, of all places, complaining about a stop sign that had been obscured by a bush. And, you know, just to kind of, on the corner of Desert View and Miracle Hill, and just to reiterate, that's not the really good place to tell us that something's wrong, is on the Ring doorbell neighborhood app. We have a My DHS app. We have our web page. We have phone numbers. So nonetheless, she sent me the screenshot of it, and I reached out to our deputy city manager on Sunday afternoon in the rain. We sent a team out to clear the bushes in the rain, in the wind, on a Sunday afternoon, which they did. And it's this kind of dedicated staff that we have here in the city. And I just want to say thank you for a job well done, and remind residents, you really want to we will take action. We take action very fast on stuff, but use the channels that we see. If my neighbor hadn't seen that Ring doorbell mention, that bush could very well still be blocking that stop sign. So use the appropriate apps. Download that My DHS app. It's available on the App Store and Google Play. We have our web page, has a great big button that says report an issue. And we have a phone number. If, you know, old-fashioned way, pick up the phone and call City Hall and report it. And we'll take care of it really fast. That's all I've got, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Ms. Pye?
Okay, on April 28th, I attended, at Too Much Ponds, there was an audience for the Palm Springs Unified School District Superintendent. And they had a bunch of chairs there, and there were only 3 people that appeared. One of the people teaches students, and the other had elementary school. And I let them talk. And my thing was, I was hoping that we would have someone like the current superintendent. They had other things and talked about what was wrong, rightfully so. But if you don't show up, what's going to happen? But the consultants did pay attention to us, and they did give us an hour of their time, and in the newspaper they did report what we told them about. There were other schools that were in the Palm Springs Unified School District that were offered that also, and I just hope that they had larger attendance. On May 1, I attended the College of the Desert interview for the superintendent there. There were students, there was teachers, and there were members of their foundation. and there were 4 people that they were interviewing. And we'll see what happened. Actually, people were able to send their questions in, and it was not a forward, back and forth, but you did find out what they were about. On May 2, I'll let the mayor talk about that. It was a celebration for ROTC. On May 3, I attended the Palm Springs Unified School District Foundation, and it was about techs and drones. And it was very interesting. Desert Springs Middle School won the drone contest, so that was good because they were on display and you got to fly. Well, I tried to fly a drone and I got Nintendo. What is it? Pardon me? Yes, thumb.
Oh, okay.
And Helen offered to teach me how to do it, and as my grandmother used to say, I had a bird nest on the ground and didn't know it. I told her no, I didn't want to do it, but I think I should apply. But basically, she wants to do a presentation here for the city council. But what I want her to do first is to meet with the city manager and the mayor, because she has some great things that she wants to do. One of the things is the kids, they're learning technology, they're learning how to make the drones, but there isn't enough. There are opportunities for them, but there aren't enough people that are there for the opportunities. And what Helen is trying to do is to create a pathway for our students. And so I want her to talk to the city manager and the mayor, and then she can come back and do a presentation. And she also wants to do a presentation with the drones for our students also. And this would be a great deal because those who are not dealing with the drones may want to deal with the drones. Last week, I attended 2 things for scholarships for the high school students. One was the Desert Hot Springs Women's Club, and another was an organization that I also attend. And both of them felt that the students don't know what they want. And so I drilled down on their applications, and I found out that there is a woman that wants to do global technology, and she's in Berkeley, and she's going to Africa to find out how they live like that. And she's going to stay there for a year. But she knows what she wants. And when she talked, she really understood what she wanted. And instead of asking a question, I ended up crying because it was nice to know that there's somebody coming behind me that makes a lot of sense and that the world is going to be okay. There was a person who wanted forensic science, and they're taking psychology and they're taking biology. They know what they want. And this goes, and I call him Mr. T now, the principal, and the parents are very into our seniors, and we're going to be okay. And Mr. Mayor, I'm done.
Thank you. Mr. Boss?
So it's funny you should mention that because I was at the Rancho Mirage Chamber of Commerce luncheon, and I was sitting, they had some big thing on A&I and all this stuff. And there were 2, it was a gentleman and a gal that were sitting next to me that were probably in their early 20s, 21, 22 maybe. And they just were like they knew all that stuff. They were like totally into it. And they said, A&I is the way to go. Are you guys doing this with the city yet? You really should before all the other cities. You could do this with your public works projects and then your public information and all this kind of stuff. And I was just like, that's pretty cool stuff. Can we hire you? You know, right? But you're right. I feel really good. You know, I mean, we don't really see it. You know, the generations kind of has different ways of how they do things, but I agree. So that was really, glad you mentioned that. So on the 23rd, I had my airport commission meeting, which was always, I love that commission meeting. It's a great group of people. I had sent to the council the marketing brochure that they had. It was called Cactus to something. I forgot what it was. I don't have it in front of me. But it was all about the kind of the Palm Springs and the greater kind of Coachella Valley area of tourism and kind of stuff. And what they're doing. I'm gonna, now that I kind of understand more about what the marketing committee does and stuff over there, I'm gonna start plugging in that you need to cross over the freeway a little bit and get us a little in tune with some of those, with some of their things as well, which is good. Also on the 23rd, Mission Springs Water District's been doing a fantastic job with the Blood Mobile that they've had with Livestream. April Scott, who kind of coordinates and heads that with some other lady over there, they've gotten me twice so far this year to donate. My goal is 4 times. But there were some other city staff people and water district staff and then residents, you know, and they go, Russ, I don't know if you donated or not, but your staff is getting me to donate twice already. So it was really nice. But it's nice to see that. And there were other community members and staff members and the like. And, you know, it's just kind of a nice thing that they're doing with that. I too was here on the, what was it, the 24th. We had Senator Oka Bogue. I don't know if I said that right. Really, I like her. I like her a lot. I think her personality was very fitting with the crowd that was here and that we were talking. She did a nice thing with the water district as well, which was very nice. I didn't know, I don't think we knew that we were actually going to kind of say something. Fortunately, you know, there were enough items that we could bring up. And but we did have 2 items that came up from the public, and one of them was, and fortunately, staff did a great job. And here's what you did a great job on, is that you've informed us. And here's why, because I was asked about Varner Road and what the condition is and where it's at and what it's dealing with and who does what. And this guy was fired up. He was fired up. Remember him? He was fired up in the back. And he goes, I appreciate everything you did. Thank you for giving me those answers, because he was just like, we're here, buddy. We're here to help you. And he's going through all this stuff. So it was really helpful with that. Another person had questions about Palm Drive. And I was able to explain the Palm Drive project, where it is, where it's coming, and what's going to be involved in that too. So again, thank you, staff, for everything that you provided for us as being proactive like that, because we didn't look like we didn't know anything, and we were able to respond. And this, if we hadn't been there, the senator might have, she would have said, I don't know what you're talking about. But it was really good though. Our chief did a great job. We got a chance to go up and speak in front of the group. I don't know if you had anything you wanted to say or, nope, okay. Which was really good, because I watched the faces of the residents that were there and stuff. They were excited. Not only did we have officers there, but they were excited about, there was a representative from the Highway Patrol who runs the Highway Patrol office out here. And, you know, he was talking about his program and just kind of a lot of these things. So it was a nice engagement of activities with that. I too attended the Southern California Association of Governments down in Palm Desert. You're right, it was nice not having to go to LA. That was my first one for that. Interesting, a little overwhelming, but some informative stuff, and talked with a whole lot of home builders that have interest in our town, especially down by the freeway. But it was good. I think that was good, and I think the more that we have Desert Hot Springs presence in these things, the more that people become more intrigued with what we're doing up here, and they start learning and asking questions and stuff. Lastly, on the 26th, I went to the Torres Martinez Cultural Festival that they had fiesta down in the Torres Martinez Tribal Reservation down there. That was very, got to eat all kinds of just really killer, great Native American food. and they don't stop feeding you. You just keep going and going and going. But it was really nice to see them, in addition to seeing some of their very traditional songs and music and presentations and the like. Very moving. I found it very, very satisfying. And then lastly, kudos to our city staff who deal with our streets, maintenance and what have you. We had some potholes that were pretty darn deep off of Miracle Hill, just across from Angel View. Within 48 hours, those were filled, which was really nice. And then also, previously, I've had a similar response, which was down off of Mountain View. There were 3 potholes down there that were very, very deep, deep enough that would topple a motorcycle too. And our staff went down there, didn't ask whether it was county or not, just said, we'll handle it because all the people that drive down Mountain View are residents from our town, so let's just handle it. And so kudos to our street maintenance folks as well. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. I attended the State of the District, 4th District? Was that it? 4th District, yeah. And I wasn't able to stay for the whole event, but it was a good update for our supervision district. I also was invited to Leadership Coachella Valley. I'm an alumni. I went through the program in 2011, and they invited all the mayors to come speak in 2 different panels, and there was 4 mayors in the morning. And I was able to speak to some of the, hopefully, leaders of our future in the Coachella Valley. MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, held a youth summit here in Desert Hot Springs Saturday before. And I was asked to speak on behalf of the city council and say a few words. Myself and the police chief were able to attend and say a few words as we kicked off the event for the day. There was a lot of kids at Saturday school that were forced to be there, but they hopefully got some good information out of there. Coachella Valley Association of Governments Executive Committee met, and the big discussion was South Coast AQMD's $20 million pilot program to phase out gas heaters. There's a gas that goes into the air from the gas, and it ended up being a larger discussion because what's going to happen is they're going to phase out gas heaters, and it's going to become electric. And what do we do for the grids? And so it became almost an hour discussion with South Coast AQMD about the real needs of our valley and not these types of programs. So it was very interesting to listen. It was brought up by I always get this new title wrong. What's the committee you saw? Environmental?
Energy and sustainability.
Energy and Sustainability. They changed the name of it a couple years ago. So that was a big discussion that was brought up from that committee. Final stages of CV Link are being constructed. If you have not seen some of the connections, they're beautiful. They're finishing multiple connections. All of it's been funded. That was within the scope of the project. There is some talk about a piece of the CV Link being extended to the Salton Sea, and there's a study being done on that. And then obviously we've had our plan here in Desert Hot Springs that's still looking for funding, and they're finishing environmentals on that. So with that said, they do have within a year they hope to be finished completely with the CV Link. And then finally I was able to attend Nichelle Webb, First Sergeant for the Junior ROTC program, her retiring from the school in the program. She's given a dedication to our community for so many years and inspired youth within our community to either join the military, go to college, trade school, university, and she's been a staple here at most of our events with the ROTC. And I was headed out of town on vacation. They gave me an opportunity to speak up front. Councilmember Pai and Mayor Pro Tem Gardner went with me to that event along with our city manager. I don't know if you guys, did you stay the whole time? It was hot that day. I had to leave right away, but I was able to give Nichelle an appreciation plaque. I don't give very many plaques out. I usually give certificates or proclamations or whatever is important for that group or that person, but there's one thing that I do for individuals that I have seen that have gone up and beyond for our community, and Nichelle has. So I gave her a plaque with the key to the city, and I presented that to her. I think it's something that is well deserved for everything she's done for our community. All right, that's all I have to report on. I'm going to get to the business, and we're going to start with public hearings. Obviously, everyone knows if you have a conflict of interest, please disclose those. Our first public hearings, item number 4, general plan amendment number 25-1, design review number 25-1, development permit number 25-1, and environmental number 25-3, an application to amend the general plan and zoning map to develop 64 affordable multifamily housing units. Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council. By way of introduction, this is the second affordable housing development to come before the city in the 6th cycle of the regional housing needs allocation. While the 220 affordable units in Green Day were approved by the commission, this project is still facing challenges getting water and sewer to the area, which we are working on. The crossings at Camino Campanero have utilities readily available. Presently, we are at 451 affordable units for projects either entitled or in the pipeline, and that includes the upcoming Park Lane homes. That leaves the remaining 653 affordable housing units in our RENA allocation. So tonight, I'd like to ask Patricia Villa Gomez, our principal planner, to present this case to you.
Thank you. The item before you tonight includes a general plan amendment to change from residential high density to residential medium, the certification of an EIR addendum, a development permit, and design review for the overall project, which will be discussed further. The project Crossings on Camino Campanero is for the development of 64 affordable housing units on a vacant 5-acre site located approximately 600 feet east of Palm Drive. The project site proposes to change the general plan land use map and zoning designation from residential high density, which allows up to 30 dwelling units per acre, to residential medium density, which allows up to 20 dwelling units per acre. The project site is currently assigned 125 affordable housing units per the City of Desert Hot Springs Certified Housing Element. The County of Riverside has submitted an affordable housing project, which is currently under review with the city and is planned on Park Lane and is zoned mixed-use corridor with no assigned affordable units. The county's developer, Abode Community, is proposing to develop 167 affordable housing units. Therefore, the remaining 61 affordable housing units assigned to the project site, Crossings on Camino Campanero, will be reassigned to the Riverside County site, Abode Communities, as shown here, with no net loss in affordable housing, thereby allowing the property to be rezoned to residential medium while complying with the housing element and state law. The cluster residential buildings contain mid-century elements, including an angled roof on the building's front facade, with large overhangs, architectural pop-out, and stucco finishes. The residential units will feature a mix of 1, 2, and 3-bedroom apartments designed to cater to diverse household needs. The project site also proposes a single-story, 3,986 square foot community building that will feature a lounge area, management and leasing office, a central laundry room, maintenance space, and a patio overlooking the play area. Additional amenities include a pool, barbecue areas, community garden, a teen area, and a tot lot. Communal spaces will encourage social interaction within the community and residents. As part of the entitlement for the project Crossings on Camino Campanero, a 64-unit affordable housing development that will be deed restricted. A request for a concession is allowed under the state density bonus law. Under California state law, AB 2501, housing density bonuses concessions for affordable housing developments are to be allowed. The project Crossings on Camino Campanero will be 100% affordable with a mix of 30% to 60% of the area medium income. 3 concessions are permissible, but only 1 concession is requested at this time. A request for a concession that allows for 1-bedroom units to be a size of 614 square feet instead of the minimum city requirement of 700 square feet, a difference of 86 square feet, and allows the 2-bedroom units to be a size of 849 square feet instead of the minimum city requirement of 900 square feet, a difference of 51 square feet. Crossing at Camino Campanero will include landscaping at building entrances, along building frontages, and parking areas as shown in the landscape perspectives. The landscape inspiration includes ocotillos, palos verdes, barrel cactuses, Texas Rangers, to name a few. The final landscape will need to be submitted to Mission Springs Water District for final review and approval. Pursuant to CEQA, the city, acting as lead agency, reviewed and certified the general plan environmental impact report for the approved project and determined that the implementation of certain mitigation measures were reduced to less than significant. The city has also reviewed the proposed reduced project and has found that there are no substantial changes that warrant additional review under CEQA pursuant to Section 15162A and 15164. And with that, this is a recommendation that the City Council adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of Desert Hot Springs, California, to certify the addendum to the 2020 Environmental Impact Report number 25-3, approve general plan amendment number 25-1, approve development permit number 25-1, design review number 25-1, and read and introduce by title only an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Desert Hot Springs, amending the Desert Hot Springs Municipal Code 17.04.060 to amend the zoning map from residential high to residential medium for APN 656-050-006. That concludes my report. I'm available if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do I have any specific questions of the city council to staff before I open the public hearing? I don't see anybody in the queue. Go
Just
ahead.
one. Were there any comments from the Vista Montana people?
No, there were no comments. I did have one email about traffic on Palm Drive
Right.
and did try to address that comment about what was happening in the short, medium, and long term with the improvements on Palm Drive.
Okay, thank you.
No other comments. I'll open the public hearing at this time and take testimony from the applicant. Is the applicant present? Yes, sir.
Evening, I'm Mark Irving. I'm with Blue Companies. We're the applicant for this project. I want to say thank you to Travis and Patricia for all their efforts on this. We're looking forward to the opportunity to develop this project in Desert Hot Springs, and I'm here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If we have any specific questions, we'll call you back up. Do I have any testimony in favor, opposed, or neutral position? And if you do, please state your position. Are you in favor, opposed, or a neutral position?
Elliot Lou Griffin. Hi, how's it going? I am in favor of it. The only problem is that we usually walk through there to go to the park. So is there going to be an area that we could go to the park? You know, because my brother lives right there in the next door. I don't know if those houses are going to be able to look over into their backyard neither. You know, it's going to look over, I don't know. But it is like we do come down the street and just walk right in there to the park. I don't know if they're going to leave like an area.
We'll address your questions to city council, and then when you're done, we'll have somebody answer
all
those.
right. Is it going to be like a walkway or something that we can still get through there from that side, or will we have to go all the way around to get there? That would be my only question.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Any other testimony in favor, opposed, or neutral position? All right, we'll close the public hearing at this time, and we'll have to give the applicant any time to rebut any questions, or can staff answer that?
Presently, there is not a walkway designed from Camino Campanero to the park. I did look at that, and there are possibly on the side that the gate could be on, would be on the east side. The question is ADA as far as creating a path to go there, and it would be between the residential homes on the east and the carports that would be on the west side of any path.
So you're open to consideration on that?
I'm open to consideration.
Thank you very much. Any other comments or questions for the applicant? Closing the public hearing at this time. Open it up for any more discussion or motion.
I'm in the queue, so.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't refresh.
Wanted to bring up a couple of things on this for our consideration. On the one hand, this is a fantastic project that will really go a long way towards making our RENA numbers in this cycle. And we do need low-income housing in the city. I have a concern, though, with this project in particular, with the waiver of the development impact fees, particularly fire, PD, parks. We're getting, with this thing, we'll get 200-plus new residents. 200-plus new residents that will need fire, will need police, will need parks, yet nothing is being put in to offset the cost the city is going to have with that. And what we've done in this, with your recommendation, is to waive those fees for 50 years. Well, 50 years from now, we're not going to get those fees. I just don't see that.
Yeah.
We'll all be dead and gone by that time.
Yep, Councilman,
But-
that is another item, item 10 on the agenda, is separate from the approval of the project. Yeah.
So this is just for the entitlements and for the ordinance and the general plan. The diff waiver is a separate item.
Okay, well, we can take that up then when we get to the diff waiver part of it. I'm sorry about that, so.
Any other questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
So moved. There is a motion and a second. Wait for it to come up on the screen. Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously. The motion includes the first reading of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Desert Hot Springs, amending the Desert Hot Springs Municipal Code, Section 17.04.060, to amend the zoning map from residential high to residential medium for APN 656-050006. The ordinance will return on May 20th for second reading and adoption.
Thank you very much. Move to item number 5, cannabis regulatory permit retail renewals ordinance. Ms. Newsom.
Mr. Mayor, this item and the following item will be presented by Andrew Nielsen.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council members. Before you is an ordinance to repeal Section 5.50.195 of the Municipal Code. In March of 2024, as part of continuing revisions, Council approved the implementation of annual renewals for cannabis regulatory permits. This came after a reduction in tax rates for cultivation. Cannabis retail facilities were exempted from the annual renewal requirement. On April 15th, 2025, Council approved a reduction in the cannabis retail rate from 10% to 5% of sales. To provide for consistency among facility types, the proposed ordinance will repeal the section exempting cannabis retail facilities, thus requiring annual renewals of all facilities. As codified previously, existing cannabis retail regulatory permits will expire in 6 months of approval of this ordinance. This concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much for the staff report. Do we have any specific questions at this time by council before I open the public hearing? No questions? We'll move to opening the public hearing. Is there anyone in favor, opposed, or neutral position to this item and would like to speak before the council? Yes, sir. State your name.
I just wanted to ask, what does that mean exactly for the cannabis places? I didn't understand what you were trying to say. Maybe it's my monkey brain or something, but I didn't.
Speak into the mic so
Oh,
everybody can hear you
sorry.
and they can hear you at home.
Sorry about that. I just wanted to understand what it meant to an existing cannabis business. Does that increase their fees, reduce their fees? What does it entail? I didn't understand what you're.
You can ask the question, and then when we're done with the public hearing, he'll answer it for you.
Oh, okay, sounds great. That's it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Anyone else have any comments on this item? Please state your name and your question.
Elliot Lou Griffin, and I thought the last time we did the reading, it didn't go from 10 to 5%. That was the first reading. Now, wasn't there a second reading to the 10 to 5%? Because I wanted to, and now is this it?
This is a different item.
No, what happened to the second reading for the 10% to the 5%?
I believe it was on the consent calendar already approved.
Oh, wow, no way.
Was that this one, Joe?
Oh, was it? It was the,
Yes, it
can
was.
we pull that? I would like to really talk about that.
Sorry, it's already been approved.
Well, I guess here I go. I will talk about that in this because it's all together. I did want to go to 15%. I did offer 175,000. I mean, if we bailed them out, and this would have brought, in total, if we went from 5% to 15%, it would have brought in 1.2 more million. I proposed giving them $175,000 apiece. That's all four of the marijuana shops, which would be $700,000, which would still leave $500,000 left over in the budget for small business grants. If we had went with the 15%, believe it or not, and we would have just passed, it would have been a 10% pass off. But right now, they're not getting anything. Nobody's going to get anything. And it would have gave us 550 in total grants, over $500,000. Ooh. So and you guys already approved it? I mean, I talked to the city manager about this before, and believe it or not, this is like a really, really good deal. Because it did go from 10% to 15%. It did bring in an extra $500,000. And I mean, we could do $500,000 in grants with that money. I mean, this is like the best deal on the planet. I wouldn't even have passed this up. They're going to go, the state is already going 5%. I mean, we give them $5
Mr.
back.
Griffin, you're way off topic right now.
I know, I hear you.
So we really need comments. Are you in favor, opposed, or neutral position of this,
I am
this issue, this,
for
item
that
before us?
one, yeah. I am in favor of it.
Thank you very much. Any other comments on this item before I close the public hearing? All right, we'll close the public hearing, and can you answer that one question?
Yes, sir. The existing retail facilities, which are dispensaries and non-storefront retails, will now be required to have an annual license as opposed to a one-time, or annual permit, as opposed to a one-time permit. Yes. Well, that's the next agenda item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I feel like I'm being a bit of a naysayer today, and that's usually not my usual track of going things, but I have some concern with this one as well on a couple of fronts that I want the council to consider. We're doing this because we're going back to an annual fee, same annual license renewal fee that the cultivators and the manufacturers are paying. Not same amount, but the same process. We got rid of this fee to help the retailer folks out when our tax was still at 10%. We dropped it down to 5%. So I think, and I see where staff is going with this. It's fair to bring it back up and have them pay it. At the same time, the state is getting ready to raise their tax. So we lower our tax 5%. The state raises their tax 5%. And now we're going to tack another fee on top of them. So we're actually sending them backwards. And they're actually going to be paying more under this right now. Now, we don't know if the state's going to do this. So my suggestion would be that we maybe hold off on this till we see what the legislature does. And if the legislature doesn't pass the tax increase on, then maybe we can reconsider this for an equity standpoint. If the state does put that tax back on, we're sending these guys further back down the stream and into a negative revenue position. So that's where I'm at with this. I think, it's a good idea, I think, for equity's sake, and we go across the board with everybody, but we're going to put these guys back behind the 8 ball again. So I would suggest that we maybe table this until the legislature finishes its session and we find out if the state is going to raise the cannabis retail tax and wipe out any of the gains that these guys are going to make. That's all I'm doing.
Any other comments, questions?
I would be okay with that.
No. We have another thing that's coming up on this, which allows for transferring, correct?
You mean on this agenda?
Pardon me?
You mean for this agenda?
Yes.
It is the fee that is related to this item.
But it's allowing for transfers, correct?
So it's a renewal fee, essentially. It is for the process of renewing these permits annually.
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
No.
Well, currently, if I get this correct, we have a one-time fee but we're going to make this an annual fee, just like a business license fee. so that we can keep better track of the businesses? Is that the purpose of it, correct?
Yes, so if I may.
Shooting from up here, but.
Yeah, if I may, the matter before you is not simply to establish a fee and simply collect it. Historically, the city staff has not been at a place where we would have the capacity to allow for annual renewals of any cannabis facility permit. So what we did last year at the time that we lowered cultivation rates is we had a full cannabis staff that allowed us to conduct annual permits, which allows us to then require updated submittal requirements, which is the first time we've done it in a long time. As you know, with the industry in the condition that it is, there is a lot of transfer of ownership, a lot of transfer of owners individually. And so unless a transfer happens, we are never historically going back to these facilities and asking the hard questions and auditing these records. So if a facility is open for 5 years, they're not submitting any new documentation, no statements of information, no updated floor plans. And so the reason for this is simply not to establish a fee, but for us to be able to conduct those annual audits and have them provide those supplement documents so that we can ensure that these facilities are running under the proper ownership, and the proper regulations. So it's a checks and balance. The reason that we did not have the retailers do it last year was simply because we were not bringing the item of the reduction of the retail tax before the council at that time. So it would have seemed very unfair.
Can I make a suggestion, and just something for the debate here is, this process I think we all agree on, and this is the process. And then we're going to talk about the fee, and we can discuss what that fee will be and why the staff is recommending that fee. It doesn't mean that we can't suspend those fees for whatever time period you think is necessary until we find that out. But at least let's get through the process, whether you support that process or not. Is that fair enough?
That answers it.
So, I see where you're going with that, and yeah, we can put, so we don't have the process in place now. Don't we already have that? Didn't that exist? Because before you were doing that.
No.
Could we completely repeal that?
No, so it never existed.
Okay.
The way that we have always done regulatory permits were at a one-time with a 5-year fee established. Essentially, we would recover fees for a 5-year term, and then we would recover nothing. So last year, when we reduced the cultivation tax, we then established the requirement for those facilities to renew their permits annually. So now that we have reduced the retail tax, we are now establishing that the retail facilities reapply.
Yeah.
So
But-
a little confusing, but this item is basically the process as the mayor stated, and the next item is the associated fee.
And I can support the process. I see the need for the process. I see where we're going with that. What we can't do, I believe we can't do, is when we get to the item, when we talk to the next item up, the actual amount of the fee, we can't adjust the amount of the fee because it's based on the nexus study, and we can't adjust the fee to either make
We really need to focus on the process, and then we'll get to your fee issue, and let's then focus on that. Do you support the process?
I do. Can we implement the process but not implement the fee when it comes time to do the fee?
If that's the desire of council, the answer
Okay,
is
that's all I need to
yes.
know. So, yeah.
But we'll have
Is
that,
that-
first let's get through the process first, and then we'll talk about the fee.
Everybody good with that?
All right, I'll make a motion then that we approve the renewals ordinance as recommended by staff.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, wait for it to come up on the screen there. And while it's coming up, my comment based on the process is I think the process is important. No government agency out there should put more burden on a business owner to pay more fees, but we do need to make sure our businesses are run correct, and the good business owners have that opportunity to stay as good business owners, so the bad business owners don't put them out of business. If that makes any sense at all. Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously. This is the first reading of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Desert Hot Springs, repealing Section 5.50.195, transference and renewal of permit exemptions of Title V, Business Licenses and Regulations of the Desert Hot Springs Municipal Code in order to update cannabis regulatory permit regulations. The ordinance will return on May 20th for second reading and adoption.
Thank you very much. Item 6 is user fee for cannabis retail regulatory permit renewals. Ms. Newsom.
I'll be handling that one as well.
Sorry. Nelson.
Yeah, as part of the amendment just approved by council, before you are the proposed fees for the cannabis retail regulatory permit renewals. We conducted a nexus study examining the contract rates related to permitting specifically to cannabis retail facilities, as well as staff time. The result of the user fee calculations determined the recommended fee for full recovery to be $5,794.12. This is estimated to generate approximately $52,147,000.08 annually, depending on the number of retail facilities. This concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
And I'll just preface this. I don't have a question. I just have actually, we'll do our comments afterwards. Any specific questions on this item? I know there's some comments, a lot of comments. We'll talk about those in a minute. All right, no specific questions. We'll open the public hearing. Anyone in favor, opposed, or neutral position, please come forth and let us know your position.
Emery Lesko again. I'm wondering how the city is going to, I don't know how well you understand the cannabis business. I grew for a long time. How is it you're going to build the infrastructure to monitor these facilities and know every piece and different piece of that business to where it makes financial sense for the city to go in and actually have the infrastructure to have the people go in and audit that business? That's my only question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? All right, I'll close the public hearing at this time. We'll open up for discussion. Again, I think we've heard a lot here, and I get where Mayor Pro Tem's going with this. I don't want to put a lot of regulatory. It's our responsibility as staff to bring forth what the fee should be based on what the costs are. We as policymakers have to make sure our businesses are taken care of. I have no problem with suspending the fee for now as long as we adopt it. We can suspend it until the state makes its decision. And when does session end? Sometime soon, right?
Yeah.
Is it going to be in the first session? This session, not fall?
Who knows with the state? You know that.
Okay. So we'll bring it, there's no date to bring it back, but that would be my recommendation, is to approve this as is, have the process, and then as the budget is adopted and if there's any issues within the budget, the city managers can bring that back and discuss that with us. But I see where you're going. So
I concur with that. I think we can set this, we can approve this fee, set it aside for now to see where the state ends up with their budget. If they do increase the tax, the retail tax, we can consider leaving. At least we have this in place so that if the state doesn't increase its tax, we can implement it. If the state does increase its tax, we can keep waiving it until either the state brings its tax level down or something along those lines. So I'm perfectly content with that, because that was my suggestion, that we either hold the whole thing until that is decided, but we can pass it now with an amendment that says we will not implement this fee until the state budget determines whether or not they're going to increase the retail cannabis fee tax.
Any other comments?
Well, remember this. This is a fee on the business owner. The tax is a fee that the buyer, the consumer, is taxed on. So it's two separate things. So we're asking we deferred this for whatever reasons they were deferred in the past. I wasn't on the council at the time, which I would have concurred and would have voted that way myself. And yet now, because we've decreased the tax to the consumer, we want to go back to charging a fee, when right now the industry is in turmoil because of the hemp, because of illicit market, because of the excess fees that are happening at the state level, both on the retail, both on the cultivation and the like, and not allowing for more industry expansion unless a city votes on it. So I just want to clarify that before we start talking all these numbers, let's make sure that we're talking facts. One is a fee to the property owner or the business owner. The other is to the consumer. That's all I got to say.
But we can all agree on that it will be passed through to the consumer either way.
If I could,
It would.
if I could, the cannabis tax for retail is specifically not allowed to be a pass-through tax. It's one that the facilities have to pay. It can't be passed on to the customer.
And this could be passed through the customer, so. Okay, a lot to think about there. Any other comments or questions? Yes, ma'am.
And what happens with the auditing? Because wasn't that in there because of the auditing?
So financial auditing happens on a regular basis. We're doing it monthly as a part of the program, the regulation essentially that we established last year with the Monarch. Monarch is a technology company that essentially automatically debits cultivation and retail tax from our cannabis facilities through bank accounts. So there's a metric report that is produced on a monthly basis that we compare that to what is self-reported by these facilities. So that is a form of a financial audit that is consistently conducted on a regular basis. If we find that there's a large discrepancy, we'll do either further examination or hire a consultant to come in and do another financial audit.
Okay.
I'll make a motion then that we adopt the user fee for the cannabis retail regulatory permit renewals, amending it to delay implementation until after the council has a chance to look at the state budget, depending on what the state budget does to the retail cannabis tax rate.
So suspend the fee.
Yeah.
All right, there's a motion. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
All right, we'll
I'll
move
second
in
it.
second on the screen. Once it's moved and seconded, we can vote. Please vote.
Motion passes with Councilmember Pai, Councilmember Voss against.
Thank you very much. We'll move to item number 7, shopping cart regulation amendment ordinance. Ms. Newsom.
Mr. Mayor, this item and the following item will be presented by Code Compliance Supervisor Tyler Messer.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. I'm here to discuss the amendment to the city's shopping cart regulations. In February 2022, the City Council approved an ordinance amending shopping cart regulations and establishing shopping cart containment plan requirements. The goal was to prevent shopping carts from being removed from the shopping centers and abandoned in locations where they are visibly blighting and pose a threat to the safety of motorists and pedestrians. Since the regulations were enacted, 15 vendor submissions for shopping cart containment plans have been received, and 9 of those 15 were approved. Some vendors were exempt from the shopping cart containment plan by filing a declaration that they do not use shopping carts in their regular course of business. After the approval of the shopping cart containment plan, city staff has observed a decrease in the number of shopping carts retrieved from the public right-of-way in alignment with the vendor's shopping cart containment plans. City staff remove shopping carts from the public right-of-way daily and is required to store them in accordance with the California Business and Professions Code. Additionally, city staff must contact each vendor on the same day a shopping cart is removed. If the vendor retrieves the cart within 3 business days, there is no charge for its release. A $50 citation may only be issued if the vendor fails to collect the cart by the 4th day following its impoundment. As per the California Business and Professions Code, any cart not reclaimed within 30 days of the notice given to the owner will be sold or otherwise disposed of by the city. This process of impounding, notifying, coordinating retrieval with vendors, and disposing of the carts consumes significant staff time. Shopping cart containment plans currently do not require annual renewals. As a result, when vendors change their retrieval companies, modify physical containment measures, or fail to conduct regular maintenance to ensure that disabling devices are functioning, city staff are not notified and the shopping cart containment plan is not updated. Shopping carts abandoned in public spaces, parks, sidewalks, and private properties have become a growing concern despite our current regulations. These carts continue to be unlawfully removed from business premises and are often left dismantled, damaged, or abandoned throughout the city. These discarded carts contribute to neighborhood blight, pose traffic hazards, create barriers for pedestrians, and attract vandalism. The ordinance amendment before you tonight seeks to strengthen our existing framework and hold cart owners more accountable by implementing enhanced cart containment and retrieval requirements. The key elements of this amendment are to establish a shopping cart containment plan annual renewal, establish an annual on-site inspection requirement for vendors, expand the definition of shopping cart to include merchandise carts, allow city staff to notify vendors of impounding shopping carts by email, phone, or text message, require amendments to the shopping cart containment plan when information changes within 10 business days, allow for exemptions of shopping cart containment plans with vendors with fewer than 10 shopping carts, establish a fine schedule for violations of shopping cart containment plan regulations. These updates are molded to retain full compliance with the California Business and Profession Code Section 22435 through 22435.13, which support local regulations as long as it does not conflict with state law. And that'll conclude my report, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. At this time, is there any specific questions for staff before I open the public hearing? Yes.
Yes, Tyler. The retrieval process on that, somebody who walks by the corporate yard every day and sees probably 24 yellow carts from Dollar General that have been sitting there for a long time. Did you anticipate this getting to them so that they can come get their carts, or what? Why they're still sitting there? Is this?
I'm happy to report that they have been disposed of. We had to follow the appropriate notification ways to go through that. So
okay, so
they are gone.
They're gone. Okay. On the one day that I didn't go past corporate yard, I didn't see them. So that was the question, because they have been piling up there, and I just was confused as to why a business would let them sit there that long.
So state law requires us to hold on to them, to impound them for a certain amount of time. Dollar General, they're a frequent flyer in our yard.
Okay. Thanks.
Any other questions for staff before I open the public hearing?
I have a statement, not a question.
We'll do the public hearing, and I'll come back for that. I'll open the public hearing this time and take any testimony in favor, opposed, or neutral position.
Sir, I am opposed. How long do they impound them for? Because he said that they impounded them for a certain amount of time.
Okay.
So I would ask that. Oh, can I get an answer right now?
No, ask the questions. You'll get an answer after.
All righty. I am opposed against this. You know, our businesses do what they can to keep their doors open. I know Stater Brothers, they're only like at a 3% profit right now. I don't know how much Vons is. I don't know how much Dollar General is. I mean, I'm pretty sure they do their best. And it's not homeless that's actually taking it. It's people without cars, people without vehicles, you know, that don't want to carry their groceries home. Just to try to charge a business that, you know what, somebody's stealing from them. You know, it's like we're charging them for somebody stealing your stuff. That's how I would look at it. You know what I mean? And I would look at it like that, and I would just oppose it for that. You know, I just wouldn't want somebody stealing my stuff and then I get charged for it. You know, so I would say that I would stick up for them. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions before I close the public hearing? This time we'll close the public hearing and we'll take any comments. I just want to preface this with former Councilmember Betts and I worked on an ordinance many years ago to stop shopping carts from leaving there, and they put in the little wires and brakes and all that stuff, and it worked. It helped. It really did. But there's businesses that aren't participating and doing the correct thing, and when our staff has to go collect all these carts and they don't even pick them up anymore, it's a burden on us. So these processes are important. It's important that we get that taken care of. Mr. Tyler, could you answer that one question about how long you impound them and notifications done?
Yeah, so we understand that the shopping carts are not only removed by homeless people. With this ordinance, state law requires us to impound them for 30 days. And as far as the citation goes, We have to notify them before we can issue citations. They have to be stored with us for 3 days. On the 4th day is when we can actually issue that citation. What this ordinance does, it forces them to have annual renewals of their shopping cart containment plans. What we're seeing right now is they have shopping cart containment plans, but when they change vendors or they no longer have a contract with a shopping cart retrieval company, the shopping carts are not being picked up. That's why you're seeing so many at the yard. That's why they're not, we don't have anybody to reach out to go remove the shopping carts for us.
Perfect. And this is, this has been a problem for years, and strengthening these ordinances to make large corporations and businesses be responsible for their property, which is their shopping carts. If they're going to provide them, they should be responsible to make sure they stay within the confines of their location and make sure that they're picked up, or get a fine for having them spread out through our community. So I have no problem with this. Mr. Pitts?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I obviously totally support this, and for the optics of having shopping carts all over the city, it doesn't look good for aesthetics. This is interesting too. I don't know if you guys even knew this, but right now there is a bill moving through the system. It's a state bill 753. Cortez is the author of it. And so this would allow local governments to return shopping carts directly to retailers and recover the actual cost of managing those returns. So I think we're on something. I just wanted to say that I know it's not just the homeless, whoever it is. There is a responsibility for the store to make sure they keep the shopping carts on their properties. And unfortunately, we see them strung out all over the city. And just aesthetics, it doesn't look good. So I just want to support you guys on that.
Any comments?
Well, I'll make a motion, although we can always do what Canada does, and Aldi, and charge 25 cents with a deposit to get your shopping cart back. So it doesn't work really well, unfortunately. But I will make a motion then that we adopt the shopping cart regulation amendment ordinance as outlined by staff.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Motion is seconded. Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously. This is a first reading of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Desert Hot Springs, amending Chapter 8.16, Shopping and Laundry Carts of Title 8, Health and Safety of the Desert Hot Springs Municipal Code to enhance regulations for the containment and retrieval of shopping carts. The ordinance will return on May 20th for second reading and adoption.
Thank you. That'll take us to the next item 7, user fee for shopping cart containment plan initiative and renewal application. Tyler?
In February 2022, the City Council approved an ordinance amending shopping cart regulations and establishing shopping cart containment plans requirements. Since then, shopping cart containment plan application fees have been charged based on the staff time. The fees related to shopping cart containment plans are needed to cover the city's cost in administering regulations associated with the processing of initial and annual shopping cart containment plan renewal applications, such as on-site physical containment measures, cart retrievals, and device disabling contracts. The city performed a nexus study to determine the cost incurred to inspect and monitor shopping cart containment plans and renewals of the shopping cart containment plans. And we determined that the cost is $358 per shopping cart containment plan. The city processes approximately 12 shopping cart containment plan applications per year, which will generate $4,296. That'll conclude my report, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any specific questions on this before we get to opening the public hearing? See none, we'll open the public hearing at this time and take any testimony in favor, opposed, or neutral position. See nobody coming forth, we'll close the public hearing at this time and take any discussion by council or motion.
I'll move that we adopt the fee as outlined by staff.
Motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Move to item 8, military equipment annual use report. Chief Shaw.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Good evening. So tonight before you, some background on this. In 2021, Assembly Bill 481, which was the military equipment annual use, was required we came before you, and in April of 2022, the council approved the Desert Hot Springs Police Department's military equipment use policy. AB 481 requires a military equipment use report to be submitted to the City Council for an annual review. AB 481 identifies certain law enforcement equipment as military equipment. Whether or not any of the branch of the military actually uses any of the law enforcement equipment listed. The legislation requires oversight from the governing body for purchase and usage of what the bill has deemed military equipment. Tonight, the attached report covers the Desert Hot Springs Police Department's 2024 military equipment use inventory. A couple items in that report is one of the requirements, well, there's several, but some of those requirements are that we present in that report how the military equipment was used during the year, if there were any complaints or concerns received concerning the military equipment, any internal audits about the military equipment, and the annual cost for each type of military equipment. And in the report in front of you, it lists all that information. Again, a couple items from that. There were no complaints in 2024 about any military equipment used by the Desert Hot Springs Police Department. A number of items were not even used in 2024. We did not use the 40 millimeter projectile launchers, which is in our report, in our equipment. The less lethal beanbag was not used, but we did use the drone, and we used the drone 435 times during 2024, so quite a number of deployments. It's been a real game changer for the officers and how we're doing some of our policing and capturing some evidence and crime scenes within the city. So that's been very effective for us. In terms of expenses and fiscal impact, in 2024, we did spend $13,583.50, and that was for the purchase of a drone. Those funds were utilized from the 23-24 fiscal year Police Department Supplies and Maintenance Account, 245-4266-4223-000. And with that concludes my report. Happy to answer any questions.
Any specific questions before opening the public hearing? I'll open the public hearing at this time and take any testimony in favor, opposed, or neutral position. I will close the public hearing at this time, and I will take more council discussion or a motion.
I'll move that we accept the report as presented by Chief Shaw.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Please vote.
Councilmember Pitts? Motion passes unanimously.
That's all the public hearings we have tonight. We'll move to the administrative calendar. We have one item on that. Item number 10, deferral of impact fees for the affordable housing development crossings on Camino Campanero. Mr. Clark.
The applicant for crossings at Camino Campanero is requesting a deferral of impact fees for their affordable housing development. They're requesting a 55-year deferral, which is coincident of the income deed restriction for tenants living in a development. The total amount of impact fees for the project comes to $10,174 per unit. At 64 units, that's $651,136. The plan check, review, permit, inspection, and pass-through state fees would still be collected. I would note that CVAG waives their traffic tump fees for affordable housing, but they do collect the environmental mitigation LDMF fees. Several cities throughout the valley support affordable housing in different ways, some through the donation of land, some through funds from a housing authority, or some through fee waivers or deferral. In this case, the applicant is asking for a fee deferral. Would also note that SB 937 allows for deferral of impact fees to at least a certificate of occupancy. And that's my report. I'm happy to answer any question.
Before we take any questions, we'll take public comments. Does anybody have any comments on this item? All right, we'll ask Mr. Gardner, you have some questions about this, obviously?
Since I jumped the gun so much earlier, let me just reiterate again, this is a beautiful project, and it is something that is very much needed in our community. That being said, I do have great heartburn about waiving the diff fees, particularly those for fire, law enforcement, and parks, because those are areas that are very critical in the city. We're going to get upwards of a couple of hundred new people moving in that are going to need police, fire, and, CVAG does they waive their traffic mitigation one, but they don't waive all of them. And I'm okay with waiving some of them, but I think our key ones really need to be in place. And I look at it two ways. We're deferring this for 50 some odd years. And none of us are going to be around in 50 years to make sure that those fees get paid. Whether they get paid or not, I don't know. But 50 years from now, this town is going to have 50,000 residents and is going to be completely different, and they're not really going to be needed as they are now. So on the other hand, we're not getting any fees or anything off that property right now. We need the housing, and it really helps our arena numbers. So I really have heartburn, especially about waiving all of them. I would support waiving some of them, but leaving in the fire, law enforcement, and parks one, because we need that. And if we're going to get 100 and something new residents when they move into this, they're going to need that. So I would ask the council to consider moving down those rounds.
Any other questions or comments? Would you like to hear from the developer on any of that you have questions on?
Not really a question, but if you want to, I'm happy to.
You might want to walk the council through it and ask
Yeah.
why you're asking for the deferral.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity again. Mark Irving with Blue Companies. I want to emphasize it's a deferral, not a waiver. And the way it will work will be a residual receipts loan with an interest rate in it. And the deferral will be where after other fees are paid off out of the project, the city's loan will be 25% of the residual receipts. I believe that's what you and Mark discussed.
Yeah, so how the agreement is currently written, it is just a waiver flat out of all of the fees. There is no interest or anything like that. So forgive me, but it's just a waiver of the 651,000 in change.
Okay.
Yeah, there is no interest
Mr.
or
Clark
anything
might
like
have
that.
some.
Yeah, but there is a lien that would be imposed on the property to guarantee.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we would have a lien on the property to secure the $651,000 fee deferral. But is how I drafted, how I understood this was to be 55 years flat with a lien.
So how does the lien work? Is 55 years, it mandates the project stay low-income housing? Is that what it is? And that's what projects the lien, and it meets our numbers, and it continues to make affordable housing?
That's correct.
So the way it works here is developers can't get past the building costs a lot of times without having some of these fees waived. So what would be the impact on the fees that you're proposing we not waive? Would be the question to the developers if they could pencil it out over time. So does anybody have those numbers?
May I make a comment? This is a little new to me. I wasn't in direct conversations with the city attorney, but a deferral of the fees is far better for the project than a waiver of the fees. A deferral means the city will get paid, and it should be way before 55 years, as I mentioned, through the residual receipts. To the benefit to the project is a deferral of the fees makes it a loan. There's also the ability to get tax credits on that amount, which in this case would be about $300,000 more in tax credit equity that can be applied to the project to develop. So,
is this time sensitive?
Tax sensitive.
No, is this item tonight, the deferral or waiver, time sensitive? Meaning, if we sent you back for 2 weeks to come back in 2 weeks to get clarity on what you're saying comparably to what's being asked of us, would that hinder the project in any way?
I believe it would. The project is hopeful to apply for the tax credits and bonds on the 20th of May. But if it has an effect on the overall financing, then having it come back up, and it just means we wouldn't submit the application until probably September.
Is that correct, Mr. Rowe?
That's correct. Yeah, we are up against a application deadline for submission
So we
for
do need to
for
make a
this
dec-
round of tax
So we do
credits.
need to make a decision tonight. Mr. Voss?
So, I mean, for instance, public safety, we're looking at 57,000. Parks, we're looking at 110,000. I just looked at the gentleman's plans here, and I see recreation stuff for the kids and what have you, walkways, at least one community pool. In that, you know, speaking of SCAG, when I was there last Thursday, I sat in on the housing session that they had, dealing with people who specialize in this stuff and the affordable housing element of it. This is a state mandate. And every single one of them really dealt with the issue of is how costly things are, and they simply are not able to build an all affordable housing project without some form of subsidy, some form of tax credit, or some type of relationship with the city. Unfortunately, we don't have RDA, so our limitations are there. We don't have land that necessarily say build on our land, and it makes it limited with that. For $650,000 to be able to garner 64 affordable housing 20 and 30 years. And now that we've bumped these up to 55, we're gonna go to pasture, and we're still gonna have affordable housing homes. So I would urge that we, as though maybe it's something new, it's something different. This isn't going to be the first one. It's not going to be the last one we're gonna have. We're gonna get more of these. And it's something that if we are expected to meet the magic numbers that our community development director knows that we need to meet, we're going to have to start doing this stuff. And so I would urge my fellow council members to kind of grit your teeth and maybe support it, because it's going to keep coming. We're going to get more, and we have to meet those numbers, or else we're going to find ourselves already like some of the other cities have that have said we don't have it.
Any other general comments, or are we ready for a motion?
Is one, and I respect what you're saying, Councilmember Voss, and I understand, but I also am looking at our ongoing budget, our budget coming up this year, the needs of our police department, the needs of our fire department, and we know there's some big needs coming from the fire department, and we're losing out on the ability to pay for those if we just make a blanket fee waiver for projects like this, even when they are desperately needed. That puts us as a city further behind the 8 ball when it comes to making up the need for additional officers, additional fire equipment, additional fire people. So I get it. I can understand waiving the aquatic center, even maybe the parks, the community center, the storm drainage, all of those. But I think that the primary function of a city is public safety, fire and police, and waiving those, I can't go there.
So I'm going to make a motion to defer the impact fees for the affordable housing development crossings on Camino Aventura, with this caveat that you work with the developer and clarify whether this is a waiver or a deferral, and have the paperwork ready so that they can file on May 20th. Whether it's a deferral or waiver, will follow what's language on here as a deferral. Is there a second? Is there a second first, and then we can get to discussion?
I'll second that.
Second. Madam City Attorney, you have a comment?
Mr. Mayor, just as a point of fact, this is a deferral. It was requested to be a deferral, not a waiver, but it's 55-year deferral.
Okay.
So,
Well, I
just
think
wanted to
if there's
clarify
a
that.
way to make it work for both parties, that'd be great. But if it's not, and this is what we're voting on, then it is what it is, because we don't want them to miss out on this opportunity to file.
Again, I'm just, mind you, we're talking 57,000, and I understand that's a lot of money, and I never like to see that go, but this is the future of what's happening with that. And if you've ever seen what the fines are from the HCD department in the state of California, if you think $57,000 is a lot of money, wait till you get a fine from them.
Good point.
I can guarantee you it's going to be a lot more than this. And this is just, unfortunately, this is the cost of doing business with affordable housing projects, with the state mandates, and without having RDAs. If you understand RDAs, you'll understand what this is all about and why this is so difficult as it is.
All right, I have a motion on the table, and whoever seconded it, if you can press second.
I did.
No further comments, please vote.
Motion passes with Mayor Pro Tem Gardner opposed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have nothing pulled from the consent calendar. I do have one public comment. Mr. Griffith, you have your 3 minutes.
Elliot Lou Griffin here. First, I want to say that I am going to file this claim form for damages for the officer. I know it's been a while. I would like you guys to look at what Palm Springs did with Section 14. I'm pretty sure that they didn't file a claim form, and they still settled that for them. That way I don't have to go back and start screaming about the videotapes or anything. I could just solve that issue as fast as possible. And then I would like to introduce my Housing First. Make America Amazing Extreme Makeover Homeless Edition. And I really was interested in that. We have 187,000 homelessness in the state of California. I did have some plans that I want to submit to the city as far as the homelessness project. And I think that I'll be done with that by the end of the week. I do want to talk about swag. I did say my proposal would cost about $2 million. And I know we talked about affordable housing, but this is no income housing. And I think that that'd be a real big boost for the city as far as no income housing to see as far as what we could do. Actually, I would like to turn in my proposal and see if the city would enter into a contract agreement with me, even if it was for $1, I would say. And in that way, I can at least start work on this project. Let's say that the city only had $100,000 for this project. That way, you know, if you could just, I would just get a proposal saying, Elliot, I got $100,000 from the city of Desert Hot Springs, and that way I could take it to Riverside County, I could take it to all Coachella Valley, I could take it to everywhere we go, you know, and see if they are willing to invest in us as well. You know, take it to Palm Desert, take it to La Quinta, take it to Indio, and see if we get a Coachella Valley strong going on a homelessness project. So I would turn it in, and I would like to see if the city would enter into agreement with me. I did say for $1, I am going to ask between $5,000 and $10,000. That way, it would give me enough to go to Riverside County and beg for money. It'll give me enough to go to Palm Springs because our homelessness is interchangeable. You know, they catch the bus from over here to over here. You know, so it's easy for me to go to Palm Springs and say, hey, well, the city has $100,000, Desert Hot Springs has $100,000 invested in this. Can we get anything from you? You know, so I would like to see that happening. And then as far as swag goes, I did throw in a proposal that we could cut them short and, you know, 2 months, and then, hey, we save $400,000 and then not renew them. That'll be $1.4 million to this project, and it'd be Housing First.
Thank you, Mr. Griffith.
Yes, sir.
No other public comments. We have just some upcoming meeting announcements. The Public Safety Commission will meet on May 8th, 6 p.m. On May 13th, the Planning Commission will meet, and the City Council will meet again on May 20th here. Before I close, I just want to congratulate our Deputy City Manager for becoming a father. God bless you, and whatever you can do, he's a little girl now, girl dad. So whatever you can do and start saving it up for the quinceanera now, because it's going to cost you a lot of money. Cars, teenagehood, all of that. Congratulations, sir. With that, yes?
Staff reports, the two of you, you did a good job.
Absolutely. And we're going to report back. Fantastic job, and the suits were awesome. We are adjourned.